Part 2, The Business Fundamentals of Freelancing. Story number 2, A Lesson on Leveling Up in the Woods. Dispatches from a Freelance Writer's Life. During my time as an undergrad at USC, I held many different jobs, one of which was an orientation advisor, a role where I would help new students navigate their summer orientation so they would be prepared to get the most out of the school year when it started. As part of my training, myself and all the orientation advisors went to this camp in the middle of the woods for some good old team bonding. And no, we didn't read any weird Latin chants while performing blood sacrifices while we were there. That's how the football team spends their retreats. One of the activities we did required us to be blindfolded and attached to a rope in the forest. Our mission? To follow the rope and find our way out of the obstacle course. And if we needed help, we just had to raise a hand. So the blindfolds were put on us, we were attached to the rope with a hook, and we started walking. We ducked under trees, walked gingerly over logs, and headed towards some unknown destination. And we walked, and around me I started to hear some giggles. What were people laughing about? I wasn't sure. I was determined to get through the course, but it felt a little endless. I kept walking and walking and walking, and kept hearing more and more giggles and laughter. Finally, I gave up. I raised my hand, and someone came over and unclipped my hook and took off my blindfold to reveal a perfect circle. We weren't traipsing through the woods on some epic obstacle course. We had been walking through a perfect circle. The goal of this exercise, the way you won, was by raising your hand and asking for help. I was one of the last stubborn ones still walking, unable to ask for help. At first, I thought the exercise was a little silly and that the game was rigged. But years later, I realized that during some of the most critical points in my life, I got much further by asking for help when I needed it. Asking for help can materialize in many different ways. It can be as simple as asking a client to hop on a call to get more information about a project or their company, or it can be as complex as needing to hire a proofreader or editor to help you keep the quality of your work high. When I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I had to ask my partner Kyle for help. My disease made it difficult to type, the core part of my job as a freelance writer, and I had to find new ways to automate some of the rote tasks I was doing each day and get help where I needed it. I've also asked for help from the freelancers who have worked with me. I've asked for help redesigning my website, handling my taxes and bookkeeping, and I've asked for help from friends and family when I went through tough times. This section of the book is here to encourage you to learn the business side of freelancing and then get help where you need it from professionals and other experts. Most freelancers don't think about the business side of their work because most of us are solopreneurs. However, you're doing yourself a disservice by not seeing your work as a business and getting necessary support as you build your brand. This section is also one of the most powerful. By seeing your work as a business, you can unlock new ways to free up your time, travel the world, and find new and exciting clients. So don't skip this section. It might just set you free. Chapter 16. Business School for Freelancers. If you're a freelancer, you're also a business owner. If it's just you and you don't have any subcontractors or assistants, you're what's known as a solopreneur. You do your own thing, sell your services to clients, and maximize profit and minimize loss. This book isn't financial advice, and that's why I recommend assembling your Avengers team of experts. This expert team can include a lawyer to handle your contract creation and be there if things go south with a client, a business manager to handle things like documents related to your business entity and anything else that comes up. This person could also be your accountant and bookkeeper as well. An accountant to help you with your books and taxes, a freelancer coach or other mentor to hold you accountable. This could be substituted by just reading books like this one. Your freelancing peers who you can ask questions about what they're doing with their business and setup. I credit part of my success to having a trusted team of advisors, mentors, and peers to help steer me in the right direction. Things like tax write-offs can be deeply confusing without having a CPA who is a master of the tax code to help you handle them. While I'll go over some things you may want to think about for your freelance contract in the next chapter, you should always consult a lawyer and have them draw up the paperwork you may use for the rest of your freelance writing career to help protect you in case something goes south. When it comes to putting yourself through a mini business school, here are some ways you can teach yourself what you're missing. Read books about marketing to help you build your website and share your services across social media and blog channels. At the end of this book, you'll find a book list and links for more resources to help you level up your skills as a freelance writer. Learn about the art of negotiation from experts such as hostage negotiator Chris Voss by watching his masterclass or reading his book, Never Split the Difference. Read through IRS tax law to get familiar with the rules when it comes to tax write-offs for things like business travel, that is, attending a conference for your freelance field, and other common write-offs so you can work with your CPA effectively during tax season. Learn more about psychology and conflict resolution so you can work with clients better, even if something goes wrong. Learn about investing and decide how you want to build passive income or different streams of income for yourself. More about passive income later in this book. Get familiar with your state and federal laws when it comes to freelancing, forming LLCs or whatever entity you are freelancing under, and any other details relevant to you and your work. All of this doesn't have to happen overnight. Just take an hour every week to try and grow your knowledge of the business side of things and ask your team of experts any questions you run into. The 16 steps to building a bulletproof freelance business. Here's what I would recommend for the order of operations when it comes to setting up your freelance business. 1. Set up an LLC or entity to freelance under. Reach out to both an accountant and a lawyer to get this set up. 2. Open a business bank account for all of your business expenses. 3. Consider professional liability insurance as a freelancer and discuss this with your team of experts. 4. Hire a lawyer to draft the freelancing agreement you will use with clients. If you plan to work with subcontractors or other freelancers, have your lawyer draw up a contract for them as well. 5. Consider getting a P.O. box or mailbox street address for your business. This is helpful to keep your home address private while still having an address to list for your business, on contracts, on government documents. 6. Consider getting a separate phone number for your business as well, that you can use with your current phone so you can reduce spam calls to your personal number and better clock out on weekends. 7. Create a website for your freelance writing business and list it on Google so people can find you. 8. Talk to your CPA about self-employed tax deductions and the best practices for saving receipts and other record keeping. 9. Keep all your business records in one secure, virtual place on your computer or in a Dropbox folder so you always have access to them no matter where you are. 10. Consider getting a business credit card to build credit. Always pay off the balance each month. 11. Do your own bookkeeping or hire a bookkeeper to do that for you. 12. If you have an employee at your freelance business, such as a virtual assistant, you may be able to buy group health insurance plans in certain states. Talk to a health insurance broker who may be able to bundle different insurance plans together for you, that is, vision/dental/life insurance, depending on your state and your state's marketplace. Otherwise, decide what you're going to do for health insurance, such as purchasing from your state's marketplace as an individual. Look at different options and see what makes sense for your medical spending. 13. If you work with freelancers or employees, talk to your expert team about getting a workers' comp policy. 14. Consider opening a Roth IRA to save for retirement, but talk to your CPA to see what they recommend for your retirement fund. 15. Consider opening an HSA if you have a high-deductible health plan, HDHP, to both invest your money and use it as needed for qualifying medical expenses. Talk to your CPA about IRS rules for this and get to know the differences between health insurance plans. Call a health insurance broker if you want to know more. 16. Decide what billing, invoicing, and contract management platform you'll use to handle contracts with clients. When it comes to building a solid foundation for your business, it's worth the time and energy to do it right. A lot of this stuff only has to be done once, so check it off your list and celebrate. Why learning about business helps you make more as a freelance writer. But I became a freelance writer just to write. Listen, I get it. I recognize that this part of the book might feel akin to eating your vegetables, but the reason why you eat your vegetables is because it nourishes your body. Keeping your freelance business healthy will aid you through maximizing tax deductions, reducing risk in case a project does go south, and allowing you to do what you love every day. As you increase your earnings, you can outsource more of the day-to-day business stuff, such as having a bookkeeper do your books, letting your business manager help you with things like billing and other odds and ends, and relying on a lawyer to handle any legal stuff that comes up. Let's say you don't take the time to build the foundation of your freelance business. You don't set up an LLC, you don't create contracts, and you get into legal trouble with a client. They drag you to court, and you could potentially end up being personally liable for whatever damages they're seeking. If you don't have insurance and can't pay whatever the fees are, you might lose personal assets in the process. I don't say this to scare you. It's rare but not impossible to have a freelance job go this wrong. But it's important to protect yourself in the small chance you do end up doing business with someone who is out to get you. There are some bad apples in the world. Don't let them stop you from taking risks and standing up for yourself, but do be sure to take steps to protect yourself so you can move confidently in your work. A good foundation is like a tree. The best time to plant for some shade was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Amy's field notes. You're only as good as your team. In college, I wrote and produced several hours worth of scripted content for USC's television station. I ran quite an operation. At one point, I had hundreds of volunteers helping to produce my show about con artists running amok on a college campus, and students could even earn class credit by working on my crew. As with any college film project, the episodes of my show varied wildly when it came to quality. We had a rotating list of DPs, directors of photography, some of whom knew their way around a camera, some who were more green. During the episode where our con artists get locked in the radio station and are forced to play a high-stakes game of Monopoly together, the director opted to do constant 360 rotating shots that worked for a bit, before they became totally dizzying. This is par for the course when everyone is working for class credit, but when our episodes did knock it out of the park, that was all thanks to our crew as well. A great team could make any challenging shoot day yield high returns. Our show ended up being nominated for 2 college television Emmys, and I traveled with the cast and crew to Miami, where we won Best Actor and Best Drama, and I ended up giving an impromptu speech on stage where I thanked the people who got us there, our team. You're only as good, or as bad, as your team, so when hiring teammates to help you in the freelance space, choose wisely, or else you'll end up being the mark during the heist. I create these voiceovers using Wondercraft AI, a text-to-speech tool that speaks in your voice so you can create more podcasts, audiobooks, and voiceovers, all by just dropping in some text. Use my code SUTO50, SUTO50, or the link in the description below to get 50% off your Wondercraft AI subscription. I get a small commission if you use my code, so thanks for your support. Sending creativity and good writing vibes your way. Amy.